Welcome back to Warcraft Re-write. We have a what if today, and as always, I'm joined by Dry. Dry, how's it going?
It's going well, Ingalai. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Perfect. Today on the what if is what if the Stonemasons were just paid for their work? You just have people that you pay to do their job, but they weren't paid. Scummy alliance. Gotta hate the alliance.
That wasn't the Alliance's fault. That was the work of a singular king in Stormwind by the name of Varian Wrynn.
So,
And also, this information that we're about to say has, in fact, been retconned, unfortunately.
yes.
It is no longer canon to the story, but we're not going to take into account the retcon. We are going to do before the original lore. That is what we're asking, not the new lore, because Oxenia was the reason for it. So now we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna focus on the original lore itself.
So, in the original lore, the reason why the king did not pay the stonemasons was because the money, he said, was going towards the war effort, setting up garrisons and setting up the POW camps for the orcs, and none of the money was, he didn't have enough money for paying the stonemasons for their labor. So let's say they did get paid. What would happen next? Well, they wouldn't go out to Westfall and wouldn't start the Brotherhood, which means that there would be no Defias Brotherhood out there, Defias pillagers. But with the way that Westfall is and how much they hate the crown out there, I feel like there would be a little bit of uprising, especially with the Shadow Council out there, with Cho'Gall whispering to them, trying to find a way to weaken Stormwind and its people from the outside and in. So I feel like that wouldn't change too much with Westfall.
No,
But
unfortunately, I feel as though Westfall will always be kind of bad to live
yeah,
in. It's never gonna be fixed entirely. But the stonemasons not getting paid also leads to, okay, what about Tiffin Wrynn? She wouldn't have died. Now, in the past, and if you are read up on Tiffin Wrynn, which not many people are, to be fair,
mm-hmm.
in her biography, she is described as a diplomat. She is level headed and can basically talk her way into anything, and is people adore her. She, much like Princess Diana, she is the people's ruler,
Yes, she's
the people's
very good
princess.
at negotiating.
Yes. So what if they never rose up? What if the stonemasons got paid and they left well enough alone? Well, that also leads to an interesting question. Because I believe that no matter what happened, Tiffin Wrynn will die because she needs to die for things to canonically happen in WoW.
Sorry, Tiffin, you're still gonna have to die. In the movie Loki, I think they call them like anchor points or special people. She's a special person, which that point in time is that she has to die no matter what, so that Varian can go on to become Logosh and Anduin doesn't get a mommy.
No, unfortunately, Anduin does not get a mother figure until Jaina kind of steps it up. But in the same way that, she needs to die in order for people to, stories need to be told, need to go forward.
And something to anger Varian at the same time.
Right. So not necessarily the stonemasons killing her, but I feel like she would still die, let's say in Westfall.
Okay.
Because like you said at the beginning, they still may have uprisings because things are still happening in WoW at this point. Even if the stonemasons didn't uprise,
Mm-hmm.
there are still issues that are, going on. It's just not all about Stormwind.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
if anything, she could have also died by going on diplomatic issues throughout the Eastern Kingdoms, going to a POW camp and getting killed by an orc, or going to like a military outpost and getting killed by a troll or something like that, which might make him anger even more towards the Horde. Or do you think that she should die from another human?
Well, I feel like if Oxenia was still in charge and whispering in Varian's ear, it'd be very easy to point it towards the Horde.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, look at what they did. They killed your wife.
Oh.
They burned your city down, and they killed the one person who gave a frick about you.
What are you going to do about it, sir?
Right? And so he, in his grief, maybe comes down harder on the Horde.
Mm.
And maybe he intentionally... Because there's a lot of history between Varian and the Horde. Thrall and Varian respect each other. They don't like each other, but I feel like there is a respect. Especially, even Sylvanas Windrunner, who doesn't respect many people, respected Varian.
And that was labeled in the book too, right? With...
Yes. In Before the Storm.
Before the Storm, that's it.
When Anduin, because spoiler alert, Varian does end up dying in Legion. And so Anduin obviously becomes king, and Sylvanas, having lost Varian, is more willing to do sneaky things.
Yes.
And because she does not respect Anduin as much as she did Varian. So she would be... She's more willing to listen and to negotiate with Varian than she ever was Anduin.
Mm-hmm.
But in this timeline, where he believes that the Horde killed his wife, even though, again, not all trolls are Horde.
No. It probably would have been done by not Zandalari, Garabashi, or something in Stranglethorn. I forget their troll tribe names. There's so many of them. But
Right.
they're not a part of the Horde, but it could have still happened, and he just sees it as, oh, a troll did it, well, the Horde did it, and that's basically how it goes down.
Well, because, again, he's not seeing reason. He just lost the love of his life, and they literally, in one of the most tragic ways possible, you just had a baby, you're on cloud 9, you're talking to your people who... for the most part, respect and love your wife, and then some dude throws a rock at your wife, and it just so happens to strike her on her temple.
And kills her.
And kills her! Right in front of everybody, and I'm sure that the Stonemasons who were like, I just want to get paid, I want to get paid and go home. They saw that, they're like, oh no, we're not getting anything.
We're not winning at all.
Because there were some people who saw a reason within the Stonemasons.
Oh, yeah. And then,
like, listen, we just want to get paid. We just want to get paid, go home, and eat. We just want to live a comfortable life. And we did do the work, and it's a beautiful city, so we should have gotten paid.
Yeah, and they should have. They did get paid. Would money be cut during the war effort? So would there be a couple more troll uprisings, or would even Thrall be breaking out of his POW camp sooner? And also, or is it Grom? Yeah. Isn't it? No.
Died.
Orgrim Doomhammer.
Okay, yeah.
Orgrim broke out of his POW camp. I think he did it twice in 2 different camps. But I feel like he probably would have broken out and be able to free a couple more people than just himself, creating a stronger bond with the Horde as well. And
you also have to think about how much the Stonemasons would contribute to a better Stormwind if they had gotten paid. Because if they had gotten paid, they'd be more willing to help out with the war effort.
They would have become soldiers, or they would have built newer weapons and fortifications.
They would have helped out with fortifications and not necessarily weaponry, because I see them more as save that for the gnomes. Weapons, but they would have been more helpful in reinforcing things.
They don't know how to make a boomstick.
Yeah. Imagine in Stormwind, right? bear with me for a minute, Horde.
Okay. Oh, I see how it is.
Imagine for a minute a better fortified Stormwind against Deathwing.
That would be better.
Would the casualties be as large? Would Stormwind have gotten destroyed if we had a better fortified Stormwind during Cataclysm? Would we have been better off? And I feel like the answer is yes, of course.
I think differently.
Pay your workers. Gosh, please.
It's time to rewrite history. But first, to the billing department.
Traveling through Elwyn Forest again, looking around at all the bandits and wolves, maybe a murloc or two. Do you have those midnight Azeroth cravens that hit like a world boss? Maddie Mae has you covered. Hearthstone on cooldown, mana running low, or maybe you just sat down in the middle of a solo delve to catch your breath. A chocolate chip cookie from Maddie Mae's Bakery will help take care of those sweet, delightful cravings. It's like getting that flying mount for the first time again, soaring up to the top of Ice Crown Citadel. That sugary rush of sweet cookie goodness helps you create the same satisfaction over and over again. In packs of 6 or 12, you can cure that sweet Azeroth craving without the needing to leave the comfort of your own dungeon. Just visit MaddieMaeSweets.com and place your order today.
Now let's get back into it. I think Deathwing still would have broken up Stormwind, but the repairs done to Stormwind would have been a lot better, I feel.
Right.
And it would have been not only just the Horde and Orgrimmar gaining new defenses with the goblins, it would have been Stormwind gaining stronger defenses with the Stonemasons.
Right. And I feel like the Stonemasons, I mean, true to their craft, they did a really good job rebuilding Stormwind, right?
Yeah.
And it's a shame that we never got to see more of their skill, because it would have been really cool to see them do more of their craft and interact with us more and, but no, we couldn't pay them because of, Varian and the Noxinia.
It would have been interesting. So that was a vanilla story. In BC, the Draenei crash on Azeroth. And it would have been amazing to have them come back in the picture by going over to the Exodar and helping the Draenei rebuild the Exodar.
You could actually have a functioning Exodar, is what you're telling me?
Absolutely. It's about time. It's still under repair.
But, I mean, that would only improve our standing, too, because a stonemason with their natural gift toward building, charged with Draenei knowledge, I feel like they would be in a very good position.
Oh, yeah. New Draenei technology, ideas, craftsman work. It would be insane having them learn those new techniques and then using it in other places like Stormwind eventually in the future.
Right. And another thing, too, is we have the leader of the Stonemasons, Anduin VanCleef. Instead of killing him in a dungeon, we actually have him and his knowledge. And obviously people respect him because they went with him and were willing to start a underground cult.
Yeah.
Underground cult with him. So he's obviously very respected in his craft. So that would be huge for the Alliance to have him and his knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Now, Wrath of the Lich King. Would we see them?
We might, but I don't think so. I don't think we would see them in Wrath as much.
Maybe if they just popped up and they were like, hey, we helped you build a stronghold. Or something very small.
But I just don't see them being in Wrath as much. Like, they're not the center focus.
And then Cataclysm, they help with Deathwing. And then Miss Pandaria, I highly doubt we would ever see them there. They might make fun of the wall where the Mantid come across and break through it. And they're like, should have done a better job.
just criticizing them.
Warlords of Draenor, I think they would help you with your garrison. They would be the one to show up and say, hey, we helped build Stormwind, we'll help you build your fortification here.
And throw in some jokes like, as long as you pay us, and we laugh, and then we help, and we slap each other on the backs. We go, all right, thanks, guys.
Next is Legion. In Legion, I don't really see them doing anything either. Maybe as like an order hall kind of thing. To be honest, I still don't know where that would work out.
No, I don't see them. Honestly, the Stonemasons will take a little bit of a backseat until the story requires them in it more, which is not, I'm not saying they're useless, but they're more into, their craft is their build. They're not really soldiers. They're not soldiers, so we don't need them at the current moment.
Yeah.
Maybe more in the background.
Until BFA, where I think they would sprout up for helping create more of the war machine for the attack on Lordaeron, using their newfound Draenei technology and craft.
Right. And I feel like after, or even during BFA, because in BFA, we kind of get to know Kalia Minithil a little bit better, because she hasn't been around since... Well, in-game, she's never been around. She's mostly been mentioned in books and Warcraft 3. A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But we actually get to know her better in BFA.
Yes.
And in the book Before the Storm. But she, I could feel, becomes leader of Lordaeron. And again, she's not, I shouldn't say leader, I should say
she's
a
part of the council.
With Lillian Voss. Now, Lillian might not be too keen, but I could totally see the Stonemasons extending an offer to help fix Lordaeron up.
That would be really nice to see the upstairs get fixed, but
right.
Would that work out with the Alliance helping the Horde?
Again, we gotta think it's under Anduin's rule, not Varian's rule.
Okay. So you think Anduin would use it as like an olive branch, like the Horde and Alliance can work together. Let us help you.
Absolutely.
So after the Blight destruction from Sylvanas, Anduin throws out his olive branch and is like, hey, we're here to help you.
Yeah, I could see Anduin doing that. I don't think they would approve at first, but you gotta think too, everybody... especially the older generation, had family in Lordaeron.
Mm-hmm.
So, and not everybody, I mean, in Before the Storm, if you have read it, great book, highly recommend it. Nobody was willing, there were a few people willing to, like, meet their families again and kind of go and talk to them, but there was a lot of people who said, no, I can't see them like this. But at the same time, if I found out my family, despite if they were dead, undead, whatever, if I heard that their home had been destroyed, I would do everything I could to help them rebuild it.
I agree. And then I feel like nothing would happen during Shadowlands because we're literally in a different realm. But this is where I think the story gets really juicy, is in the World Soul Saga. So we all know that Torellian's turning crazy, right?
I mean, it's very obvious to me.
To me too. So you as an Alliance and me as a Horde, we both agree that Torellian might get a little power hungry with that throne. And when you talk to him, he says something along the lines of, Illyria and I were thinking about making some modifications. But it's played off as a joke too. I don't know if you noticed that, but it's only when you keep clicking on him that all of a sudden he says that line. Well, he also says it in his text speech. Right. And I feel like it's hinting that he's not happy with the current way things are. Yes. I think that we're going to find out that the void is bad, the light is bad, and an in-between is good. But Torellian is too focused on the light, and he's going to fortify Stormwind using the help of the Stonemasons and their use of Draenei power, especially the Lightforged part, to reinforce Stormwind City with Lightforged Draenei technology. Right, which
is an interesting topic to, and I feel like we'll do a future episode on like our theories about what's going to happen with Tyrellian.
Yes. Oh, he's definitely
Because
coming back. We have to bring him back.
we have to kind of refocus him because right now, I mean, I don't know if you've done the quest chain, but when the Horde and the Alliance came to Dornegal on their ships,
Mm-hmm.
his way of talking about the Horde was absolutely disgusting. I
didn't really catch it.
Okay, well, maybe I'm just like hyper focused on it because I was like, oh my gosh, the Horde and the Alliance. But I mean, him and Thrall's counterpart from Draenor, I don't remember her name, unfortunately.
I can't remember her name either, but I know. I know who you're talking about.
They exchange verbal jabs at each other.
Oh, yes, I remember now when they're on the beach and they're talking to each other. And then the earthen lady's like, oh, they really do like to talk, don't they?
Yeah, but it's so interesting to me because you are a veteran of the Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
She is framed and as a young pup, right? Like she was Thrall if Thrall was a little more hot-headed and female.
Yes.
And so she's allowed to kind of have a little bit of verbal jabbing at him, but he should hold her more like, okay, you're baiting me, I'm not going to take the bait.
Yeah.
But that just showed me he doesn't respect the Horde at all.
No.
He despises them, despite being married to a blood elf, which she's right now affiliated with the Alliance.
I think she's still technically a high elf. Well, now she's a void elf.
Right, but I mean, dude has no room to talk, but he still hates him.
Yeah.
I just feel like the way he talked to them was absolutely disrespectful. And if I was there, I'd be like, dude, calm down. Which I was, and I was like, oh my gosh, this dude is not okay.
Anyway, back to the Stonemasons.
Yeah.
A little bit of a side tangent.
Yeah.
But that's completely okay.
He would contact the Stonemasons for help. And I think most people would agree to help because he's the current leader of Stormwind. Mm-hmm. And most people would be like, no, I've seen this tale before and I did not like the ending.
Do you think that the Stonemasons would help King Greymane and helping Gelneus?
That's a tough ask. Because Varian himself, Gen himself is a very, very stubborn person. He built a wall around his city just so no solicitors would come into the building.
No soliciting.
He had a giant sign from the gate. It was like, no solicitors allowed.
Churn back. Leave.
Just get out of here. And everybody was like, oh, okay.
But his now perfect wall is broken when you have the Stonemasons help him rebuild the door.
I don't see him accepting it. No. I would think it would have to take an act of God himself to let those Stonemasons do just to come into the city.
So Greymane is like, I like the way I build my city. You can leave us alone.
I think so, because you gotta remember, he's also embarrassed of the Worgen curse that's currently afflicting his city, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to keep it a well-kept secret. He is so desperate to keep this well-kept secret under wraps. So they would offer help and be like, hey, we could help. And he's like, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Even if everybody's like, but again, the wall is falling apart. He'd be like, we're fine.
We're fine. It might fall on a kid or two. I mean, look how huge it is. No, it's fine. It's fine.
You guys signed the clause, right, when you moved in?
Yeah. All right. You saw the sign. It says no soliciting. Turn away.
Turn away.
Okay, so he doesn't take the Stonemasons' help. But I do think what we did with the story is a very good way of what would happen if the Stonemasons were paid. They would be in the shadows, but still be there to help us along quests. everything in the world would probably still be affected the way that it normally does in the story, except for probably near the end there. It seems like they kind of peak out. And then also for, Cataclysm, helping rebuild Stormwind in a stronger way. Anything else that you think that the Stonemasons might change in history?
Well, I would also really quick like to touch on if Anduin VanCleef never died, his daughter.
Oh
would,
my gosh, I completely forgot about his daughter.
Yeah, she would have a more filling story, and I don't see her becoming, like a housewife. No, I see her maybe joining Matthias Shaw and becoming an IS-7 agent.
So you think that she would still become a rogue?
Absolutely. I do not see her doing anything else.
That would be awesome to see her.
But now she has her dad's training alongside, there are theories going around and that Matthias Shaw and Anduin VanCleef were good friends. Maybe more than friends, depending on who you ask.
Oh.
So she may have those two, and can you imagine a well-trained child of Anduin VanCleef running around? The Horde would be in shambles.
She could craft a chair and smack it across your face.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a sign of true parenthood.
Oh my gosh. Of true parenthood. Aw. So no blade of grass. It would be Matthias Shaw.
Oh gosh, you bring that up again.
I had to.
No, as much as I love Flynn Fairwind, I just don't see those two lasting very long.
Was there any genuine lore with Anduin VanCleef and Matthias Shaw?
I don't think so. I think it's mentioned in text that they were good friends.
Oh, they were just friends. Okay.
The theories have gone wild because they're like, what happens if they were more than friends? So it's more just speculation than canonicity.
That would be kind of crazy to see her. But you got to think of it this way too: is we don't know, like in this alternate timeline, you don't know about the Defias Brotherhood. So it'd be kind of crazy to see it from our side. But from their side, it's just like, yeah, it's just Van Cleef's daughter. What about it?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that's why I like what ifs.
Exactly. We have a lot of foresight right now because of the games. But we got to kind of remember, this is an alternate universe where they were just paid.
Absolutely. And I think that ought to do it. That would happen if the Stonemasons were just paid. Let us know down below what you thought about it, if you have any other alternative ideas or theories, and if you have any other ideas for future what ifs, just let us know down below. Dry, do you have anything to talk about?
Don't forget to like, subscribe for more Warcraft Re-write, and if you're truly interested in hearing more, remember to join our Patreon. I've been Dryan. This is Angle Eye. Thank you for listening.
See ya.